I wonder how many of these people wanted to become a tattooist or wanted to write a book or start a business, and now they're buried and they never even started. That isn't going to be you, because in this video I'm going to show you the 3 biggest reasons that stop people from becoming a tattooist. Number 1, the biggest reason, rushing. I'm going to use a boxing analogy because a lot of people seem to misunderstand what I'm saying by rushing. But you imagine, right, I want to be a pro boxer. You go to gym and you want to bypass all the fundamentals. You want to jump into the advanced stuff. But what that also means is you're competing with the advanced people. So imagine jumping into a ring thinking, right, I've had a week or 2 learning the advanced stuff. Now I want to compete with the advanced boxers. You're going to get your head smashed in. The problem is, in the tattoo industry, we're not getting punched in the face to wake us up and realise what we're actually doing. So in the tattoo industry, let's look at it like this. By rushing, what I mean is people want to learn the more advanced skills. They want to bypass all the basics, the fundamentals, and jump straight onto I want to do portraits, I want to do realism, I want to do this, without setting a solid foundation. What then happens is, because they've missed that, later on, it might be months, it might be weeks, it could be years. At some point, you're going to reach an area where you think, I can't do this. And it's because you've not got the solid foundation in place. If you're wanting to jump straight into portraits within a week or 2, you're going to be unhappy with the work. Even worse, you're going to go into a shop and think, right, I'm ready for this, and try and rush the process. And then when something goes wrong, it's going to knock your confidence. Rather than doing things in the correct order and giving each area, each phase of your career, the amount of time and effort needed to become competent in that. So another really good analogy, I've used this loads of times, but really listen and think about this. When you're learning how to swim, you jump in the water and you can tread water. You then learn breaststroke, usually front crawl, whatever it may be. At that point, you can swim. You're not an Olympic swimmer, but it's so essential that you become good at the basics. You've got to learn to swim first. Then you move on from that. You learn the additional techniques and the hours and hours of practice to become from I can swim to an Olympic swimmer. Hopefully that clears it up. We're not wanting to just jump in and be an Olympic swimmer. We're wanting to jump in and learn how to swim first, get that down, then we're going to improve and spend hours and hours drilling techniques, different methods, and put the time in dedicated to learning the fundamentals, the basics. And then over time, we're going to learn how to become an Olympic level athlete. Number 2, decision making. Procrastination. We all do it, and it's the one thing that possibly just holds everybody back. We sit there and we think, this could go wrong, right? I need to do this, I need to do that. And we spend all this time and energy thinking about it rather than actually doing it, taking action. That is the most important thing. You will never get anywhere in business, in life, in pushing towards a dream without taking action. Stop just sitting there thinking about all the things that you need to do and start actually doing it. The best way that I can explain this is the snowball effect. So you just think, right, I'm at top of a mountain. I've got a tiny little snowball and it's just sat there at edge. Everywhere's covered in snow and it will just stay there. It will just stay a small snowball unless you do something. And all you've got to do is just literally with a finger, come on, just give it that little nudge and it's going to start rolling. Momentum then takes over. You've took the first step, you've gave it that little push in the right direction. The result of that is then it starts rolling. As it's rolling, it's picking up snow, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and guess what? It's getting faster as well. By the time it reaches the bottom of the mountain, it's fucking unstoppable force. But it would have never have done anything without that initial step, that little push at the very beginning. And that is what I mean by people just being sat on the fence, not making a decision. If you're wanting to become a tattoo artist, rather than sat procrastinating about, right, this has got to be done, that could go wrong, right, this has got to be done right, get a plan. Doesn't have to be a spectacular plan where you spend months and months just thinking. Get the plan and take the first step. The second step is going to be a little bit easier. Momentum will start taking over. The third, fourth, fifth step is going to be easier even still. And because you're moving, you're seeing that you're going in the right direction. It makes everything easier because you're rewarding yourself along the way. I can relate to this firsthand because I've been there and I've done it. I've had to make decisions. If I think back to when I first wanted to be a tattooist, I had my own business. doing all properties. I had a family to support. It would have been so easy for me to think, I'm never taking that risk. I'm too comfortable. I don't want to do it. But I didn't. I just got a plan and I made the first step. That is all I had to do. The rest then just naturally unfolded. But if I'd have just stayed at the planning stage, right, I need to do this, I want to do that, I need to do this, but never actually took action, I'd still be sat thinking about it now, years and years later. And there's so many people that stay in that phase about so many things in life, not just even tattooing, loads of other things where they get the idea but they never take the action. Which leads me on to point number 3, the apprenticeship system. So when I did have my plan, I needed to learn how to tattoo. That was first part of my plan. So like most people, I went around countless shops trying to get an apprenticeship. I got turned down at every single one of them. Now, a lot of people, hopefully this is not you, but there is thousands of people out there that want to be artists. Them people could be the next biggest name in industry, but they go around shops trying to get an apprenticeship because they want to learn and it's the traditional way of learning, and they get turned down. They then just stop altogether. They just give in. They just think, this is not the career for me. Look, I've had 15 setbacks. Clearly it's just not meant to be, and they quit. The apprenticeship system is failing people. I may seem biased because I've obviously got my own tattoo course that I've created, but why did I make that? One, I were in that exact position. I struggled to get an apprenticeship. I had to learn from home. And then I've done both. I've had apprentices in my shop. I've learned myself. And that's another thing that the online course just tackles immensely. It's better for people to learn at home, following the guidance, than to learn at home blind, following nothing. And that is what a scratcher is. And people don't understand the difference. Being able to learn from home safely, following the correct guidance, is always a positive thing, rather than being in an apprenticeship where you're just sweeping floors, cleaning toilets, and let's be honest, a lot of the time not actually learning the tattooing process. It's just slave labour whilst you're in there. Not everybody. There are some artists out there that are absolutely amazing people and they actually value their apprentices and they give them the dedicated time, but they're few and far between. So if you're getting set back and you can't get a tattoo apprenticeship, don't let that just be the end of your dreams, your journey. There are other alternatives that don't mean that you're a scratcher just following the blind and not having zero guidance or any direction. There's ways of doing things where you get all the benefits of a fully structured program, but you can learn from home in your own time. So you can keep your job, you can support your family, you can do it around your other commitments. So these 3 points that I've just covered, I've heard it and seen it 1,000 times over from my students. Do not let this be you. The richest place in the world, let's just think about it, is graveyard. How many people wanted to start a business? Never did. How many people wanted to write a book? Never did. The amount of people that die and get buried and they've never even started the dreams, goals, ambitions, businesses that they wanted to start. The list goes on and it's just emptiness. They just die and they've never done any of it. They die with their ideas just in their head. I've been one of these people and I will be. I'll be going to grave with ideas that I want to do or that I've thought of, but I'll never take action on. The amount of times that I'm sat watching TV and I think, where's fucking remote? We all do it. And I often think, why don't a TV just have a button that you can press and the remote starts alarming? We'd all be able to find us remote. And I bet there's loads of people in this graveyard that had the same idea, but never did anything about it. So if your idea is, or your goal, your ambition is, I want to learn how to be a tattooist, or I want to open a tattoo shop, whatever your goal and ambitions are, don't end up here without taking action and actually trying to pursue it. I would rather end up here with a load of regrets thinking I did that and it didn't work, I did that and it failed, than be here thinking I wish I'd have just give that a go. That is my biggest fear in life. Either end up in this place or even before this place and you're in old folks home. Now this is how I imagine it, but a group of old people all sat in maybe a circle or a square, eating jam triangle sarnies, telling their life stories. I did this, I did that. And me being sat there thinking I've done nothing, but I've thought about a lot. I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done that. I wish I'd have done a load of other things, but never actually doing any of them. That is my biggest regret. Do not let that be you.